So let's make our lives better and get rid of landlords. Landlords are a necessary part of society because without landlords, we wouldn't be able to rent. And a lot of people prefer to rent over owning their own homes for a variety of reasons. All of that sounds like it makes sense, except for the fact that the experience of renting can be replicated in an infinite number of ways that don't involve landlords.
Okay, this is going to be good. Now, I'm going to break this down a little bit at a time. First off, no hate to this creator. I'll tag him. Don't show any hate or anything like that. At least he's thinking outside the box, or at least trying to. But I will call out some of the things that he's just wrong about. And first and foremost, 90% of what he's describing we already have, and it's called co-op apartments.
Just off the top of my head, there could be a regulatory board of every apartment building where the residents of that apartment building vote for their representatives onto the board.
Sounds just like an HOA or a co-op. Exact thing happens.
Then every single resident pays that regulatory board a monthly fee just like they would pay rent that covers the cost of the building itself as well as any repairs and utilities that are required to keep the place functioning and livable.
Maintenance fee. Every HOA has it. Every co-op has it. So nothing's changed so far.
However, instead of just pocketing all the money that you give them every month, a percentage of that is going towards actually buying your apartment. You are building equity in the home that you are living in.
Almost like taking out a loan and paying it back and building equity in your condo. Now, co-ops are a little different. You don't own the unit. You own shares of the building itself, and you have a lease, a property lease for the right to live in that unit. So it's a little different structure, but you still can sell back your shares at a co-op.
And once you have built up enough equity to equal the value of the apartment that you are living in, you own it. It is your apartment now.
Just like a condo, just like a co-op. It's amazing how these people can come up with these things. Oh, I'm so glad he just enlightened us on this stuff. Who would have ever thought of these things?
But you are now paying a smaller monthly fee because you are not including the cost of the apartment itself. And that monthly fee continues to go to all of the services that you expect a landlord to fulfill under a rental agreement. But Luke, isn't that essentially still just buying? Well, no, because remember, that regulatory board of the building has all of the equity that you have built up in a savings account.
First off, value in a building or any real estate is determined by the market. Yeah, full value of whatever the market value is. It doesn't matter what you put into it. It's market value. Now, it's explaining basically a condo or a co-op. That's what he's doing. You're getting the full value of those shares of that co-op. Whatever that value is at that time. Doesn't matter how much you put in. Secondly, do you really want to trust a board with your savings? I don't. I don't even trust the 535 members of Congress with my money.
And you would be able to do that after living in the place for 2 or 3 months or 2 or 3 decades. Which means not only would you have all of the freedom of renting, but you would have even more freedom than renting because you wouldn't be stuck in a year-long lease.
Oh, you could do this after 2 or 3 months. Okay, this creates the biggest problem yet. So let's say he's renting this unit per se, the way he describes it, and he wants to leave 3 months in. Okay, well that's great, except for when you leave on Tuesday, are we going to get somebody in that unit on Wednesday morning? Probably not. Secondly, that unit on average, if you ask any landlord, it takes 2 to 3 months to turn it over and get another tenant in there. And that's a good scenario. So what are you going to do for the next 2 or 3 months? Well, the other 15 units in that apartment building now have to pay for that one unit that isn't paying their fair share. Interesting. So now your rent just went up. And what do you think other people in that unit that may not have that extra money to pay? Well, they're going to leave and say, well, I don't want to have to pay someone else's portion, so I'll just leave. So now what? You have 10 people paying for a 16-unit apartment building. So now you have to cover all their costs. Whereas the way it typically works with a standard apartment building, that landlord is taking that risk. They are paying for those 2 or 3 months without a tenant. See, these are things you don't think about when you create this stuff. I like that you're thinking outside the box, but somebody even with a basic economics background can tell you it won't work unless you have someone who's going to take on the risk. And lastly, everyone always likes to say this as if these apartments just already exist, and people will say they do. Well, how do you get them? You have to buy them, or you have to build them. Building a 16-unit apartment building is about $5 million. Buying them, in some places you can buy them for about $3 million. If you want to create this utopian world, nothing's stopping you. Go do it. Go buy an apartment building with your $3 million, put up the money, and let people do this, and let's see how long that lasts. Newsflash, it won't last very long, because it never does. Everyone has this great world of utopian values until their money is on the line. There's a reason co-ops aren't popular, because they don't hold the same value as even a condo. So anyway, that's my rant. Again, no hate to the creator. Hey, good for him for trying to think outside the box, but what he just described was essentially a co-op.